So we are live, just gotta subset the capture windows here.
Alrighty. Hello, Internet people.
Hello, Internet.
I know all of you like Arthur, but I'm gonna whip his ass, and you're gonna watch it.
Brandon, why don't you tell everyone what we're playing tonight, since you are the one who is much better at this game.
Alrighty. Okay, we are playing Kings of War, which is a mass battle miniatures game made by Mantic Games, which is based out of Nottingham, England. This is a game that's very similar to other fantasy mass battle games, such as Warhammer, Malifaux, games like that, except it is based on the large scale of conflict. One of Mantic's taglines is build big armies, and this game is very much built around that. It's not quite what we would call epic scale, but you're going to have a lot of miniatures on the field. I'm a big fan of Mantic Games for a number of reasons. The first and most important being that they are, I would say, much more conscientious than other hobby gaming companies would be. Their products are very, very reasonably priced. They do a lot to foster the community. They do the active message board based playtesting that we've seen work great from companies like Paizo and recently Wizards of the Coast. Their rules are for the most part free, since they're kind of still in testing. You can download the core rules for most of their games from their website. That's www.manticgames.com. And their miniatures are very reasonably priced as it goes in this field. I strongly recommend them. As far as the actual game itself, Kings of War, I love the rules. It's very, very well balanced, which I hope will come across in this game. It's all about your maneuver tactics, it's all about the luck of the dice, and it's less about, you know, do you have the best force composition that you read about on some forum on the internet. You can win the game with whatever you got. The game is that well balanced, as long as you know how to use it. It's the major thing that's really drawn me to this game. The other nice thing about the game is that it's fast. It's very fast. The design of the game is such that you are not going to remove individual miniatures from your units as your soldiers meet their untimely and hilarious ends. The unit is either at full strength or is dead. It's a small thing, but it leads to much, much faster play. Also, another innovation that they've come up with is that in this game, during your turn, you are the only one that rolls dice. You know, you may be used to something like other games where, you know, I would roll to attack, I would see if I would hit, I would roll the strength of my attack, and then Arthur would roll an armor save. Well, the problem is that takes up a lot of time because you gotta wait for the other guy to argue with you. This time you just throw all the dice yourself, and this allows a lot less stalling, so you can even do tournaments of this game with a chess clock. Above and beyond all that, the rule system is nice, clean, quick. You can run a very large game in a short amount of time. On their forums, I read a report of somebody who had played a 16,000 point game, and it was over in 4 hours. And if you're used to other miniature games, imagine how long a 16,000 point game would take you. Unless you brought a sleeping bag and a whole bunch of snacks, you're not going to be able to pull it off.
So let's talk about tonight's game then. As you know, I've only ever played this one other time. We're doing 1,600 point armies?
That's correct.
And what race or army type are you bringing?
I am bringing the humans, the kingdoms of men, which there are two human army types within the world of Mantica. The Basileans, which are very much kind of based on the Holy Roman Empire, and they go into battle with the aid of angels and paladins and nuns. I am going with, I hesitate to call them generic, but they are a more traditional human army, and I like them for their versatility, if not their special rules. Their biggest advantages on the field is, again, their versatility and the fact that their range of inspiration that comes from their leaders and standard bearers is twice as large as anybody else's, which means you can, if you maneuver well, make your army very resistant to a rout.
Alright, and I will be playing Undead. Of course, as we determined last time, werewolves are unkillable monsters that will never die and always win no matter what. So most of my army is composed of werewolves. I have I threw it up on the stream earlier. I have 3 werewolf regiments and 2 endless swarms of zombies. They're just escorting their Lich King. He is the undead master. He was once a wizard who decided he wanted to live forever, and so stripped his body of the still living flesh. But he's a good kind of Lich King, you know.
Really?
He only has the zombie swarms because the zombies insist on following him around and acting as his royal guard. He's more a werewolf kind of person. He's not really a bad guy. You know,
and the fact that you're going to kill people and eat them doesn't figure into that.
I assumed that it was your army coming at me.
Oh, really?
That you're the aggressor here. You humans just want to wipe out the blight of unlife because you don't understand us.
I have to admit that I am somewhat discriminatory. If I was just rolling across Mannica with my massive army and I saw a whole bunch of undead and werewolves, I'm pretty sure I would just straight up murder them.
Yeah.
I am a racist.
So, undead, whenever they deal damage to another unit, while they have the Evil Dead tag on, they will regain a point of health. And with my Lich King, I can either heal my own units, push my zombie swarm forward, or try to do like lightning bolts across the battlefield. So talk to me about this terrain here. It's much different than the stuff we played during the test. It's a lot higher quality.
I put a lot of work into it, as a matter of fact. You know, for the purpose of this stream, because I'm not going to show your discerning viewers a big, nasty green plot. The baseboard here that you're seeing, which is lovely shades of green and brown and different types of grasses, is actually from an Italian company called P-Work, and I downloaded their PDF and split it up and arranged it onto the Roll20 field. The buildings, the posts, this area of difficult terrain here, and these hills I made all from assets that are within Roll20.
Alright, so talk to me about the different types of terrain here. What's going to be difficult terrain, what's going to be obstacles or blocking me?
Right. Well, I'm glad you asked.
I'm glad I asked too.
Yeah. I was going to use that against you, but fine. You know, if you want to know things ahead of time, you're just making it more difficult for me to whip your ass. Okay. So, terrain in Kings of War is, again, like everything else in the rules, it's simple, it's streamlined, it's fast, it's completely unambiguous. There are basically 3 types of terrain. You have difficult terrain, which slows people down, usually provides cover. You have obstacles, which have special rules in the melee portions of the game. Think the English defending against the Zulu invasion. Defending an obstacle, which is going to slow down your enemy, is going to give you a sizable advantage in melee combat. And finally, there is decorative terrain. Decorative terrain is literally that. It does not matter in a game sense, it's just there to look good. Now, as far as the what we're going to do, because we're running on a virtual tabletop and we don't have the benefit of three-dimensional terrain, it's very important that we work this out ahead of time. These two large copses of trees just represent a small forest. Within the green area here, you're going to get cover, and it's going to be difficult terrain.
Okay.
This spot of mud right here is difficult terrain, no cover. The buildings are obstacles, naturally, they're line of sight blocking. They're literal buildings. Now, it's worth mentioning that if you do spring for the official Kings of War rulebook, they have some really good optional rules for buildings. We won't be using those here, just for the sake of simplicity, but there's some great rules. The fence here and the ruins here are going to be your standard obstacles. They will provide cover and function in melee as obstacles. These two hills here, they have kind of cliffside on one side, but you can see here that you can kind of ramp up at the bottom and you can ramp up to this one at the back. Let's call those, let's say that they are taller than an ogre.
Okay.
You comfortable with that, Arthur?
Sure. How tall is an ogre?
An ogre is going to be about twice the height of a dude.
All right.
All right.
So talk to me about the fence obstacle. How do I move over that?
Well, usually when you're moving over a fence, it's just that particular part of it is going to take about an extra inch of movement. Where they become really important is if you are defending that obstacle against a melee assault. And if that happens in the game, we'll go over those rules.
Okay.
But they do give you a sizable advantage.
Somehow I think we're gonna be going over them because they're right in the middle.
Yeah, I thought that would be interesting. Oh, this log here would also be another obstacle.
Okay.
While you're setting up your guys, I did want to throw out yet another.
I wanted to talk to you about that real quick. I don't actually have GM powers, so I can't set up my guys.
Alright, let me set that up for you. I forgot to do that. And while I'm doing that, I will do some more shoutouts. Basically, in order to get this to work on Roll20, I went in and created unit cards and basically set up a way in which we could play on Roll20. Now, as I understand it, lots of people in the Mantic community do play this game online through a number of different virtual tabletops, most notably Vassal and Universal Battle, and those are great. The problem is those do have kind of a barrier to entry. I went with Roll20 because nobody else has done it, and because it's just a pick up and go. So as far as shoutouts, I would like to again thank P-Work for our map here. As far as the miniatures themselves, I basically took a picture of a miniature, put it on a base, recreated that base a number of times equal to the number of people in the unit, and then used GIMP to add their stats. So we can always see their stats on the battlefield, which will speed up play. In the making of these unit cards, I used top-down miniature images created by Devin Knight, and I'll have Arthur put a link in the description when it goes to YouTube. Devin Knight is a fantastic artist, a class act, great guy. He has a lot of token packs on sale on his site that are extremely reasonably priced, and he also does commissions. So if you need your own units or even a top-down miniature of your character for a role-playing game, he is definitely the guy to go see, Devin Knight. And he was kind enough to allow us to use his intellectual property for this online experiment, which he didn't have to do. Also, Mantic was kind enough to allow us to do this online. And I have to say that many game companies were firmly against us doing this, particularly one who I will not mention, but whose name rhymes with Flames Horkshop.
Why you got to do that? Why you got to play like that?
I didn't want to call them out by name.
You're gonna get me in trouble with my Games Workshop sponsors.
Do you have Games Workshop sponsors?
Not yet, but when I do, I'm gonna have to delete this video.
I just ruin everything, don't I?
It's true.
And finally, I would like to also thank our club leader, Jesse Davis, the hardest working man in the game industry that does not get paid for it.
That's true. He doesn't get paid for it.
Yeah, he runs the Iron Helix Online Gaming Club, which we'll also have a link for. It is the best online tabletop gaming community I've ever been a part of. Hold on, I'm going to go off camera for 1 second. I got to deal with something.
Alright. Well, let's see here, guys. Thank you for those of us joining us live tonight from the Mantic forums. I hope that you'll enjoy this particular game, and if you'd like to know more about playing via the Iron Helix RPG Club or through Roll20, Brandon, how would they contact you?
You can contact me at my email address. That's cecil.brandon@gmail.com. The best thing to do is join the Iron Helix Google Plus group, which we'll have a link for in the comments.
If you're watching on Twitch right now, the Iron Helix RPG Club already has a link beneath us. And just gonna throw Brandon's email up on the screen real quick. For those of you wondering, it is Ceason.
I'm totally gonna get trolled.
You should get trolled.
You know, after all this time, I probably deserve it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can think of at least one incident.
Really?
Alright. Yeah.
Are you still blaming me for that?
Yep. Everyone. Alright, so I got my units prepped and ready to get placing. Let's just play the game. Let's play the game, Brandon.
Uh-huh. Alright, let me grab all my dudes. Okay, so we have, prior to the stream coming online, we went ahead and rolled to decide who would get to pick their table quarter. And being the tactical genius that I am, I've selected the north half of the field. This is because I don't want undead corpses all over this particular part of the field, because my house is a little bit north of that. It really brings down the real estate value. You know what they say, there goes the neighborhood. Something I thought we could do, Arthur, is prior to the game for our people that are watching, each of us kind of give a brief breakdown of what our strategy and plan going in is.
Okay, I'll go first. My strategy and plan...
You don't want to tell me while I'm here.
No, we can go ahead. My plan is pretty simple. I mean, and obvious. You would have known, given that I don't have any ranged units. My plan is to get as many units as possible in close range with you, and somehow get a flanking unit behind you and take out all your siege machines, which I knew you would have because you're obsessed with them, despite the fact that in all of the game testing we've seen, they are terrible and have never actually landed a hit.
You are going to be proven wrong, and it's going to be hilarious.
So tell us about your strategy.
Okay, I have chosen a list that is based on very...
You're going to put riflemen on the hills, basically.
What? No.
Riflemen and siege machines on the hills, and that's it. That's your whole strategy.
You know what you're talking about.
And then just do a holding so I can't get into melee with them.
That's boring. In any case, I favor a combined arms approach to beating undead ass. Something that I've found is that gimmick armies don't work well in this game. This is not like any other war game where the tournament scene has just created a bunch of gimmicks. I've got an arms approach. You can see on the field, if Arthur will scroll over them. I've got siege engines. I've got pikemen. I've got militia, a general on a winged beast, 2 units of cavalry, and a whole bunch of riflemen. Um, I have built purposely a very versatile army, and it's my intention to revise my strategy on the field based on what he does. I have a couple of ideas in mind, actually based on U.S. Army infantry tactics.
Mm-hmm. And like most good werewolves, I know that the only thing that really matters is getting in close and ripping the life out of what little pathetic flesh humans have to offer.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's go on to roll for deployment. Go ahead and throw me a d6. Alrighty. I have one, so at this point I get to choose whether I deploy first or Arthur deploys first. And as a matter of fact, I like the strategic benefit of knowing where he puts his first unit. But because I'm a total jerk, I have a special magical item on one of my guys called Creponion's Scrying Gem of Zelak. And when starting to deploy his units, my opponent must deploy D3 plus 1 units instead of a single 1. So, for your first deployment, you're going to have to throw out 4 units.
Okay. Now, if I remember, there's rules about how close I can get to other units within 1 inch.
Correct. If you are not charging into melee, you cannot move within 1 inch of any other unit.
Now, what about terrain? Can I be within 1 inch of terrain?
Yes, you can be on, around, and
Okay. So, can I place my werewolves, for instance, at the base of this cliff like this, all together?
Yes. It may be a little difficult on the actual tabletop, just for the physicality of the miniatures. But here, yes, it works great.
So with the built-in ruler system, what I'm going to do is hold down spacebar, and it gives me just a 1 inch ruler. And there we go. And where is that Lich King? There you go. I've deployed 4 units.
Okay. Alright, let me really quickly put in the nameplates of all my units what magical items and banners and whatnot that they have. I should have done this ahead of time, and I did not, so I apologize, but only a little bit.
I just tagged mine with colors, and I'll be taking them in order because each of my units has an item.
Alrighty.
So for those watching at home, here's my army list again. Let's zoom in. As you can see, very heavily werewolf based, aka awesome based, and they're rocking an item apiece. Now, this was built with Kings of War, Army, something. Talk to me about that.
Yes, we use a website that was created by a fan of Kings of War and put up on their forums called the Kings of War Easy Army Builder. And you guys can find that at kow.easyarmy.com. If there is also a module for this for Army Builder, if you have that, though it has not been updated in a while. I think that's my next project. Alright, can you see all my guys' nameplates?
Yep.
Excellent. Alright, so before I deploy, let me take a look at what he's chosen to do. Okay. So, he's deployed everything but his Lich King, which is way over on the left.
No, the Lich King is deployed. The zombie swarms are what has not been deployed. I'm just holding them back on top of the hill until I put them out.
Alright, so he's got his Lich King way to the left. Clearly protecting them, and trying to force me off of this right flank, or I should say eastern flank if north is the top of the screen. He looks like he wants to have a really strong presence in the center, and he's got his werewolves that look like they're just going to steamroll right forward. So I want to kind of work against that, but my trebuchets have indirect fire, so I want to put them as out of the way as I can. So somewhat predictably, unfortunately, I have to put them on this hill.
I'm shocked.
I know. Pretty sure you saw that coming.
All that talk of standard army action, and you put range units on the high ground.
Yep. Oh, I should say actually behind the high grounds. They will actually be out of line of sight.
Okay.
But because they have indirect fire, they can shoot right over that hill. I should only deploy one, so I'll just throw this guy down, and then you can deploy your last unit.
Well, I have 2 units.
You have 2 more units to deploy?
Yep. 2 different zombie swarms.
Oh, look at that bait and switch action.
It wasn't that bait and switch. I sent you my army list beforehand.
Yeah, but I don't do things.
Okay. He did not, in fact, have the politeness to send me his army list, but that's okay.
You didn't ask for it.
Despite the fact that on my viewings on the forums, I saw it somewhat traditional to send the list. It's all right that he
sent it to you like 2 weeks ago, but you didn't read it.
Uh-huh. You mean when you wanted me to play a game, but I didn't?
Yeah.
So let's see here. These...
Because you're a jerk and you're not supporting your bro.
These undead have boots of the Immortal Reaper, so they can move at double speed even if they are not charging. And so they are going to be the ones that go in front, because they are the fast zombies. Go ahead. Make your move.
Alright, so you're throwing them all the way down on that flank. I am, to tell you the truth, viewing audience, I'm actually more afraid of those zombies than I am his stupid werewolves. So I'm going to stay way the hell away from them. And I'm going to throw my riflemen. I'm actually going to throw them behind this obstacle. Alright, so they are defending that obstacle with their arquebuses. Alright, go ahead and deploy your last unit.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay, really taking out that left flank. Okay. Well, in that case, I'm going to go ahead and throw my other war... Whoops. That's my standard bearer. Throw my other war engine up here behind the hill.
Shocking.
Yeah, and they command an impressive 48-inch range, so I feel pretty good about putting them all the way over there. Okay. Now, the werewolves are definitely a problem. So I think I'm going to counter them with my militia. And those of you who are more tactically savvy amongst our audience will know why, but we'll let Arthur find that out.
This is the guy who would not send me his army list pre-game. Just remember that.
I did send you my army list pre-game.
Just remember that, viewing audience. He sent it to me 2 weeks ago for an unrelated game that we never played.
Yeah. I went to all this work to set up this fun game for my bro, and and he was all like, "Yeah, I don't really care.
Place your units.
I'd rather play Clockwork Empires."
I would rather play Clockwork Empires. Dang, man, that game is good. All my Clockwork bros in the audience right now. Holla! It's real.
Alright. So I'm gonna post my knights up right here, facing your ugly werewolves. And these guys can live in the forest, where they can frolic and play with the nice nymphs. Alright, and I will throw out a standard bear. Let's check his range. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, right there. Alright. And put him right here behind the knights, leading valiantly from the rear. And the general can hang out way over here. I got special plans for him. Alright, I believe I am good to go, Martha.
Okay.
Now let's roll to see who gets the first turn. Oh, and I am the winner in all the rules.
Yeah, you've won every toss so far.
Yep. Gods are with me. Because you are filthy abominations.
I see you show your species racism.
You know, it's not so much speciesism. I mean, we're all...
Werewolves, you know, they list it as undead, but werewolves aren't technically dead.
That's true, but they probably should be, let's face it.
It's lycanthrope hatred bullshit.
Yep. Okay, so I'm going to start off by setting up in front of this difficult terrain here, and these guys are going to do the same. Now, excuse me. King's War, you do all your movement, then all your shooting, and then you resolve melee. Pikemen are going to bravely support the militia from behind. Okay, and old standard bearer is going to keep pace. Do I want to go ahead and move my knights up? Well, I can see that your werewolves have a speed of 9. There's some terrain in the way. At a full charge, they can just barely not reach me. That's the way I like it, because I don't want to receive a werewolf charge. So I'm going to... Let's see. I'm actually going to go ahead and pivot my knights, like so, and then push them forward about 6 inches. I think that's still going to keep me out of their charge range. Yeah, just barely. Okay. We'll do the same with my other knights. Pivot. And move up about 6. All my infantry bros out there will recognize this particular formation that I'm using. My arquebusiers will stand right there because they like it. I'll move this standard bearer up so you can get the coverage. And old General, because he is flying and pretty fast, I feel pretty comfortable moving over here, or moving him over here, then taking advantage of the nimble rule to go ahead and give him a turn. So he's feeling pretty good right there.
Does he actually have nimble? Or
Yes,
is it just
all
that?
flying units have nimble,
I see.
unless it's otherwise stated.
So is he flying behind the house or something? I don't really understand how that works.
Yeah, the flying in King's War is more like hopping.
I see. So he is completely behind the house then.
That is correct.
Alright?
If you had ranged units, you would not be able to shoot.
Okay.
Now, a special note, all his werewolves have nimble, which is one of the things that makes them so powerful. Alright,
That's not what makes them powerful.
Shooting. And my trebuchets have 48 inches worth of range, which puts me just in range to hammer these werewolves. And I will do so. So each of them gets one shot. And unfortunately their hit rating is paltry 5 or better. So time to hope for the best. Alright, looks like I missed completely, which is not unexpected. Alright, moving right along with even more shooting. Do my arquebusiers have range? Probably not. Yep, they are just out of range. They're just going to sit there and clean all the grit off of their firearms. However, my militia each have a magic item that allows them to shoot. And they've only moved one move, so they do get a free shot. Now, normally, because they've moved, they would have a penalty to shoot, as well as one for long range. However, the nature of these items is that they ignore modifiers. So, on the left, I'm throwing Kevinar's Flying Hammer at you. Which always hits on a 4. No, it doesn't actually, because it only has a 12-inch range. Ha-ha! Luckily, their neighbor unit has the Warbow of Kaba, which has a 30-inch range, and hits on a 3 or better. And somehow I still managed to miss. So the dice are not with me anymore. Okay, so I fired with my 2 militia units. My arquebusiers are out of range. And I've fired with my trebuchets. I am done.
Okay.
Werewolves are scrambling over that fallen log. Looks like you're doing a single move.
Indeed, 6-inch move.
Alright, so you're approaching very cautiously, which given what you're going into, that's probably a wise choice.
Sure, believe that. So, let's see here. My zombies can make a double move. And then my undead lich will move 5 forward. My zombie swarm other can only move 5 inches. And then as a...
Dark Surge them.
Yes, after my move, I declare the shooting phase where I will Dark Surge them. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they are actually going to slam into the back of the other unit and bounce back. So they both move forward 10 inches.
Alright. It's just a whole mass of zombies.
I am finished.
Alrighty. So as you can see, viewing audience, turns go fast in this game.
So we're now starting turn 3.
Yes. And the game will end. Or actually, I think we've rolled to see if the game ends on turn 12, I want to say. It's still out of range with my arquebusiers, but I'm about to eat a werewolf charge next turn. So I'm going to go ahead and move my riflemen right here and pivot them to face. I'm envisioning shooting them very shortly here. Okay. Other movement. Now I would love to shoot these guys with my catapult to see if I can soften them up before I move my general and knights in. But that unfortunately is not the way the game goes. So let me check ranges here. Okay, I'm looking at a charge on my knights.
You don't have to reload your trebuchets or anything?
Nope, as long as they don't move, they're good. looking at a definite charge on my militia. Maybe a charge on these other knights. So why not meet them head on? So these guys are going to move. Again, they're going into difficult terrain, so they can only move half speed. I'll move them up to support each other. Pull the pikemen up to cover their rear. Standard bearer moves himself over here, as does... Actually, I think I'm going to double move my arquebusiers instead of just single move. No, actually, I pivoted them, so I can't do that. That would be cheating. Alright, standard bearer's sitting pretty right there. Okay, and I think I'm going to move old Herr General right here. It's kind of peeking out there. Alright, moving on. Oh, do I want to charge? Yeah, I want to charge. Alright, already into melee combat. The knights have a nice 16-inch charge, so they're going to ram right into these werewolves. And they're going to square up to face off. Alright, and I would love to get a flank on these werewolves. That is unfortunately not in the cards. Because, as well, actually, let me see where your arc is.
No.
Yeah.
There's no
I am
chance.
out of your forward arc.
That was never going to happen.
Yep. So, charge straight in. And hit the corner here. Square up. We're going to have some hot werewolf on night action. Alright. Moving on to the Shoutouts. Okay. Kevinar's flying hammer. Do I have a 12-inch range on anybody? Yes. Looks like I have just enough range to hit the middle werewolves. And unfortunately, I cannot shoot any werewolves that I've charged in melee. And looks like I got range warbow Kaba. 1d6 greater than 4 for the hammer. Hammer misses. 6 greater than 3 for the warbow. The warbow hits. Okay, the warbow has a value of piercing 1. The werewolves have a defense of 3, so I've got to beat a 5.
Are you sure?
I am. I mean 6. They have a 6, and then piercing reduces it by 1.
And you've moved this turn, haven't you?
But the warbow Kaba is not by such lowly concerns, being a magic item. Okay, it looks like I shot a werewolf in the face. Unfortunately, they have... No, they don't have regeneration. They have Evil Dead. So they got to kill something to get their health back.
That'll be difficult for them to do. Kill something.
Oh, yeah. Alright, and it's catapult time. And again, I'm going to hammer this middle unit. Yeah! 2 hits. Now, my catapults have blast 2d6. So, actually, I've hit them do 4d6 times. 10 hits on those sad sack werewolves.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm piercing 3, so I only need to beat a 3 or better in order to murder werewolves. Is that right? 5, 4, 3. Yes. Okay, those werewolves are going to take 7 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've grievously offended the werewolves on this turn, and I believe I'm done with my shooting. So you can go ahead and take a nerve test on this werewolves.
They're good.
Getting close.
Not that
Alrighty.
close.
So now we resolve melee. My knights versus your werewolves. Knights charging in have an impressive 16 attacks. And their melee is 3 or better. Their magic items don't come into play here. So 16d6 greater than 3. Let's see how it goes. 13 successes. Yes. They have crushing strength 2, so I only need a 4 or better. I'm going to do 7 damage to those werewolves.
Is this the left or the right werewolves?
This is going to be on the left.
Okay.
Alright. And the other knights are going to do the same thing. Get 12 successes. And with those 12 successes, they managed to do only 5 damage. However, both of those units need to take nerve tests. You failed at that test. Failed typing it.
Sure. I still succeeded. That would be a 14, which I would still pass on.
Yes, you are correct.
And 5 is 11. Still passing. Left and right.
So, having failed to annihilate the werewolves, my knights are going to back up an inch and prepare to receive their inevitable charge. Okay. Let's check. Yeah, I like where that's going. Alrighty. So that is it for my turn. Very eventful turn 3.
Okay. My units will charge, and charge. Then I will move 10 inches, and then I can make a pivot at the end of this, right?
With who?
The Evil Dead zombie swarms.
That is incorrect. If you double move, you cannot pivot.
Alright, well then they just move here. The Lich King will... Let's see. Too far. These unit cards are too big.
They're exactly the same size that miniatures would be.
Yeah, it's the extra area. It's
All the
making it so I can't get to my Lich. He will move 5 forward, and then Dark Surge.
crap all over. It's not like it's really hard on these.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least 5. So they will also slam into the back of the unit in front of them and bounce back 1 inch.
That's what it is.
Uh-huh. So, let's look at these werewolves in order.
For those of you watching at home, we actually do like each other. We just love to insult each other.
I don't like him.
I hate you so much.
So this is the regiment with the Brew of Haste. Brew of Haste is the speed unit, so unfortunately he is locked in the melee combat anyway. Let's see, he needs to roll a 3+ on 18 attacks, right?
Yes.
With 11 successes. So they have
My guy's defense is. Are we doing the knights versus the werewolves?
knights versus, we'll go left to right, so werewolves versus knights. So
Okay,
defense
they've
is
got-
5,
Yep.
and with crushing strength I need a 4.
Oh, actually, you charged over some difficult terrain.
No, we're doing the knights. I was in front of the log. I purposely moved in front of the log
you
on my
only
turn.
charged for an inch. Never mind.
Yep.
My bad.
So I will hit 4 times and regain 1 health.
my knights will very sadly take 4 damage.
And then I need to bounce back 1 inch. Oops. Next up, I will do Werewolves versus Militia Regiment.
Yep, you are going to stomp all over them.
What am I looking for here?
Well, here you charge into some very difficult terrain. And this is going to give you a -1 to hit.
Okay, so what am I looking to get? Is 4 better than 4 then? Okay. 9. And this unit is purple. Purple is number 5, which means this has the Brew of Sharpness. This unit has +1 to hit in melee, so my apologies. Let's see if I got any extra hits in there. I had 2 3s, so I have 11.
Alright.
And I have Crushing Strength 1, so I guess I'm looking to hit a 2.
That's correct.
Okay, better than 2s for 8 successes. And I regain 1 health from my Evil Dead ability.
Alright. And they have taken total 8 damage?
Yes.
Alright. They are probably going to break.
And the last werewolf troop has Crushing Strength 2 with their Brew of Strength. Minty fresh. And let's see here. They need 18 better than 3s. With 12 successes. And they need to beat a 3, I'm thinking, with Crushing Strength 2. No, that's a pretty good roll.
I'm going to lose my knights.
And they will get 1 health back as well. I believe you need to make some nerve tests, sir. And
I
then
surely do.
your
Okay.
move.
My Western Knights. They are fine. My Militia. They took a lot more damage. 17. They will break. However, they are within 12 inches of a very inspiring standard bearer, so they get a reroll. And they still break. So they are gone. And my other knights, 2d6, they took how much damage? 8? Ooh. 13. They are fine.
Now talk to me about what happens when I kill a unit.
Your guys have a choice at this point. You can stay where you are and pivot to face any direction. You can move directly forward d6 inches, but this will not start a new combat. Or you can move directly backwards d6 or d3 inches.
Can I get any lateral movement in here?
Negative.
Alright, so let me ask, if I move directly forward, is that human militia regiment going to be able to turn and charge into my flank?
Absolutely.
Alright, so then I'm just going to move back. How far can I move back?
d3 inches.
And with the difficult terrain, is that only 1 inch?
The difficult terrain does not affect your regroup rolls.
I see. So
It was a lucky break for you.
I regrouped right here, but I think you're still going to get a flank on me.
I am.
I knew the risk going in. Werewolves for life. And
Also, you got to move your other werewolves back an inch.
right. Alright.
Alrighty. So I came out of that turn a lot better than I thought I would, but still pretty rough. But I'm going to hammer him like a rusty nail. Alright, let's start with Herr General. He's going to charge right into the werewolf's flank.
I thought the trees were difficult terrain. Oh, that's right, you
Guess
can
who
charge through it.
fly. Okay, and the knights are also going to charge. And these knights are going to charge. And the pike phalanx is going to charge. Unfortunately into some difficult terrain, which is going to make them really have a lot of trouble hitting, but I'm okay with that. Militia is going to go for this tasty flank. Okay. This pike phalanx, that's a tough choice. What do I want to do with them? I don't like your zombies coming up on my other flank there. They are actually going to pivot. Oh, I don't want to show my flank to your werewolves, though. Man, this is a tough choice. They're going to sidestep, and they can sidestep half their movement. So, 2.5 inches. Alright, standard bearer, whoops. Grab him here. He's just going to roll up here to provide the inspiration to everybody. Arquebusiers don't really have anybody to shoot at because I've charged everything. Do I have range on your zombies? Probably not. No, I do not. Okay. So they are also going to sidestep just for giggles. So I like the center shooting lane. Alright. This guy is also going to move here. And let's see if I got range with my trebuchets. How much is that? Can't see it.
58, 56.8.
Yeah, it's too much. So they are just going to chill. Alright. Let the slaughter begin. We'll start with the knights down here on the left. Or the west, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. They charged. D6 greater than 3. Looking at 12 successes. They have crushing strength 2, so I need better than a 4. Do 6 damage to your werewolves. Alright, pike phalanx versus werewolves. Because they have the pike phalanx rules, they get an impressive 40 attacks. But because I charged through some mud, and I'm looking at -1 to hit, so I need 5s on these. 14 hits. They don't have crushing strength or anything, so here I'm gonna need 6s, which is sad for me.
Nothing from the charging through the difficult terrain?
Nope, that's only going to apply to hits.
Okay.
Oh, I only do 2 damage with them. Out of 40 attacks, I should not have charged through that mud.
Embarrassing.
However, my militia's got a tasty flank on you. When you charge somebody's flank, you double your attacks. You're going to get 17 hits in. But they still need 6. Whoops, that was less than 6. Let's try that again.
Well, you got 2 6s, so.
Okay.
Then you're 17.
We'll dice on the table.
Dice on the table.
Yep, so another 2 damage to your werewolves. And we'll go down here to the main event. 16d6 against your werewolves, if I remember how to type. Again, I am looking for 4s, 8s, hits. That was not a good roll. Oh no, that should have been 3 or better. So actually I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hits here. About average. Now I need to get greater than 4. That will do 2 damage to werewolves. And finally, my general, who's charging flank. He has a blade of slashing, which gives him an extra attack. He's charging flank, which gives him double. 14 attacks at greater than 3. I'm going to hit 11 times. And he has crushing strength 2 as well, so I need to beat a 4. 6 damage to your werewolves. Looking good.
Yeah, your general keeps getting over my token. Let's see here.
Let's get some nerve tests on.
Okay, so it's going left from right. 2d6, and it's the total amount that's been taken, right? So route and wavering. And nothing.
All right. Actually, my guys have a banner and a musician, which gives me a +1 bonus. So they are wavering.
This is the one in the lower right-hand corner.
That's what I'm talking about. Those knights have a banner and a musician.
Okay, so they're wavering as well.
So now to...
So is there a way to concede? Because this is pretty much over. I can't use my werewolves next turn, right?
We're streaming, bro. Let's give them
Nah,
a show.
no, I'm good. I think we've shown the people what they want. It's definitely a viable game, but I think it's clear to anybody here that this is over.
All right. Well, anyway.
Good game.
Yep, good game, man. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. We're going to have all the links to the information if you want to join us and maybe put up a better fight than Arthur did in the Iron Helix Club.
Okay. We'll still be around in chat for the next 5-10 minutes if you have any questions. And if not, join us at the Iron Helix RPG Club or email Brandon at cecil.brandon@gmail.com. Thank you for coming out tonight, guys. If you enjoyed tonight's content, please follow on Twitch or like and subscribe on YouTube. And you can find me at AP Gaming Real on Twitter. All right.